No, you next out of the show.
Oh, yeah. Hello and welcome to the FGH Radio Show. We listen on Fishbowl Radio, watching us live on the Facebook page, live on the YouTube channel, or listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, SoundCloud, or Spotify live or recorded any way you can afford it, baby. We thank each and every glory hole seeker for tuning in this week. I'm your host, Bo Stevens, and I'm joined here as always by my good buddy Longhorn. Longhorn, what's up, buddy?
Hey, cheers, everybody. Good morning. We are FGH. We come to you in these three forms: radio, podcast, and of course the Patreon page. It is almost football season. We are ready to rock and roll. We are busting out these divisions one at a time, 1 week at a time, leading up to the kickoff in early September. To put it bluntly, we save you, we make you money during the football season. Think of us as your football stockbrokers out there. If you're getting ready, you're lining up, you're getting your bookies lined up, and you're figuring out how much money you're going to lose this year, how much you can afford to lose. Well, don't do that. Sign up with FGH. The best way is to go to the Patreon page, patreon.com/bet_FGH. Let's win money this year. Let's bust up those bookies this year because losing sucks. You don't want to be coming around to Halloween, Thanksgiving. You're already busted up, and the rest of the football season is kind of like, well, I guess I'll just cheer for the Cowboys because that's not going to go well for you. You don't want to do that. At least put some money in your pocket when the Cowboys are losing. That's the way I feel. So, Bo Stevens, I'm excited. Let's finish these divisions and get ready for the football season.
All right, boys and girls, before we get into that, we got to talk about our sponsor. It's TexasTelehealth.com. Going to the doctor sucks. You got to schedule an appointment, take time off to work, drive there, and then wait for up to an hour just to see a doctor. Not with my good buddy, Dr. West at TexasTelehealth.com. Just go to the website, schedule your appointment as little as 30 minutes less. You're on the phone with him. He's got you diagnosed. He's got your script written, going to have you feeling better in no time. And the best part is you never have to leave your house or work again. And at TexasTelehealth.com, they treat everything from the common cold, flu, ED, VD, and weight loss too. Get Ozempic, baby, for $119 for 30-day supply, and your consultation is always free with accepted health insurance. So, whether you got a peen that's turning green, a little too much size running ties, yellow shit coming out of your nose, lungs, and eyes, go to TexasTelehealth.com right now and tell them that FGH sent you. That is TexasTelehealth.com for all your medical needs. All right, with that out of the way, boys and girls, if you listen to the podcast this week, or if you haven't, go do that because that's very stupid of you not to have listened. But we'll forgive you, but go now and listen. Not now, but after this, then go listen. But we went over the NFC and AFC West, so we're going to do like a more high-level view of that, obviously. We only have 50 minutes on this program. The podcast is 4 hours and 37 minutes, so definitely go listen.
Not that long. Not quite. It feels that long sometimes, but not quite. I think we came in at just under an hour and
yeah, it was actually pretty brisk. It's about an hour and a half.
Yeah, something like that.
Not bad for going over 8 teams. I'll say they've gotten longer. I'll say that. But anyway, we're going to start with the NFC West, Longhorn. So with those Arizona Cardinals, and I kind of want to go just briefly, just throw this in here. So looking at week 1 spreads, I'm just feeling out the marketplace and seeing where my projections were versus where Vegas was. So week 1, the Cardinals play at the Saints. I had that game projected at Arizona minus 4.5. Vegas had it at Arizona minus 3.5. The current market is 6. So although I was closer on the market than Vegas was, we're still pretty far off from what the market is bearing. So obviously everybody is shitting all over those Saints. I don't think it's really Cardinal optimism, but maybe. I definitely am more optimistic on it than the market was to begin with. Longhorn, what do you think about the Cardinals this year?
Maybe it's a little bit of both. It could be a little bit of both, but I'm glad that it is going that way because actually one of my major adjustments from what I had in the summer up until right before we recorded the podcast last week was Arizona bumping them up. So I've got Arizona going 10-7. One of the main reasons is I don't like what's going on with the LA Rams with the Stafford back information. And actually, after we recorded the show last week, the podcast, turns out Stafford got an epidural shot. So I only know that.
Yeah, it's a disc issue. He's hopeful for week 1. So.
and he's going to be hopeful every single week. Like at this point in his career, with
his career is over.
And this happens. Like, I mean, he's dealt with this before, but I just don't like it. So if I'm going to drop the Rams, I've got to find another team in this division to kind of, elevate a little bit. I've been high on the Cardinals previously, saying that they're one of the teams that are on the come. So I've just aggressively put them up for right now. Could have been Seattle, but again, I just don't like the quarterback for Seattle. I love the coach, love the roster, but with Arizona specifically, this defense. Let's start with the defense this time. This coach has completely transformed this defense. I love the free agent additions of Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson, shore up that middle of the defense. Drafted Walter Nolan in the first round out of Ole Miss, one of my favorite D tackles in the draft. He's more of a pass rushing presence in the middle of that line. But you go through their whole roster. They drafted Will Johnson this year in the second round. He fell to the second round out of the cornerback out of Michigan. Reports from camp is that he's just locking people up, including Marvin Harrison, which, take camp reports for what they are. But they've been steadily drafting and doing well over the last 2 or 3 years on that side of the ball. So I look forward to seeing what they can do over there. On the other side, I mean, I don't see any new additions. It's everybody just coming back. Like, let's just. But with that said, you got Marvin Harrison Jr., who I just the talk of him having. I've even seen some people saying, "Oh, put him on bust watch." This is absolutely ridiculous. He had a very fine rookie year, and I expect that to be even more. If there's any setback with Marvin Harrison, it all has to do with the quarterback. The quarterback has some issues, that have been well documented through the years. Michael Wilson, a third-year play. Going into his third year at a
So they got Michael Jordan. Holy shit. Give me 13 wins right now.
They got a 6'6", 220-pound Michael Jordan playing wide receiver out there. No, Michael Wilson out of Stanford. I think he comes in about 6'3", 215. Just James Conner at running back. He's getting older. We know he's awesome. But they drafted Trey Benson last year out of Florida State to back him up. So that's a nice little 1-2 punch you got going on there. And obviously Trey McBride, badass tight end. They're ready. Like this team has been building and building. It's all going to come down to can Kyler actually make that next step, settle in, stop playing video games, and devote his time and effort straight to the craft of playing quarterback. It's the common story with all these quarterbacks. Almost all of them have the talent. Do all of them have the mental makeup to figure it out and the work ethic to put in that time? So that's TBD on Kyler. Up to this point, he's lived off just talent alone. That's only going to get you so far. For them to go 10-7, which I'm projecting, he has to take that next mental step in his game, and I'm hoping it happens this year.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to do that, but
I mean, odds are not. From ways looking, it's not. Let's check our streaming. Let's check our video game streaming Discord channel. If he's on there right now, I take back everything I just said.
No, but I am high on this team. I'm higher on this team than Vegas is. I just told you I was higher on them on the projection, and both of us were low compared to the market. Again, I think at least half of that's just people poo-pooing the Saints. They've seen the video of Shock throwing the ball in training camp. It's not going well. What's his name? Shuckles.
Fuck, I suck. I fucking suck.
Yeah, that's his name. If you watch him throw the football in training, it's been really bad.
His nickname is I fucking suck Shuck.
Yep. It's gonna be a long year for the Saints.
He's not even gonna start, by the way. It's looking more and more like it's gonna be Rattler. To begin the year, it'll be Tyler I fucking suck Shuck coming in after that. And then, and then bada bing, bada boom, we got the first pick in the draft. And
bada bing, bada boom, we got
Manning.
We got Arch coming home, baby.
Even though he ain't coming out, but you can say
he's coming out.
He ain't coming out.
He is. As soon as New Orleans has number 1 pick, he's coming out.
Oh, so he's gonna break the trend of all the Mannings?
Yeah, I don't care what his grandpa says. He's coming out. Especially to go home and play for New Orleans. He's doing that.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's if he's still the number 1 candidate after the year. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that could change. He could not be very good. I mean, that's a possibility also.
I don't think he's not going to be very good, but he could not be Jesus Christ reincarnated, which is what people here in Texas think that he is. So, and they better fucking hope that he is. They better hope that he is.
Week one, they better hope he is when they play Ohio State.
You know what's going to be funny? Just a quick sidebar on that. That game is going to get so hyped, and rightfully so, rematch of the Natty, but that game is going to look so weird going further because neither one of those teams are going to be relatively that good. I mean, they're going to be good, but not nearly what they were last year. They're both outside the top 100 returning production. They're going to look good versus each other, and whoever wins that's going to get all the hype. But neither one of those teams are going to be a factor, in my opinion, for actually going for the championship this year. So
what?
Nah.
Well, that's a hot take. Can you build that out a little bit more? Let's not just bury that with a 10-second drop.
Well, they're both outside of the top 100 returning production. I understand that Texas and Ohio State get 5-star dudes, but they're all brand new. And just take Arch, for example. His entire starting offensive line gone, entire backfield gone, entire receiving corps gone. It's literally just him and a bunch of new dudes. Now, eventually they come together in jail over the course of a season? Of course they can. That's how college football kind of works. Mm-hmm. But he's going to have to be every bit of football Jesus that everybody thinks that he is, and he might be. I haven't seen any signs that he won't be, but he's going to have to be that for them to actually be contenders this year. So they're going to go to lose in Florida. So that's already going to be a loss. I'm just saying that right now. Just wait for that to hit your car because it's coming. It's Florida money line that week when Texas comes to visit. I don't know that they beat LSU. LSU's returning everybody. Now, there's 12 teams that get in the playoffs, so can they still sneak in depending on how everything goes? Maybe, but Alabama's going to be better this year. It's going to be a tough road to hoe. And then you talk about Ohio State real quick. Penn State, they've got everybody back. This is their year. It's their year to go get it. Ohio State hadn't beat Michigan in 2 fucking years. In 2 fucking years, they haven't beat Michigan. They're not going to beat Oregon this year. I like
this. I just want to tie a bow on this because this is going to get clipped for sure. Bo Cephas, Texas and Ohio State will not be factors at the end of the year when it comes to the playoff run and going to the championship. But that's what you said, so that's
they might make the playoffs. Ohio State's more likely to make the playoffs than Texas is, just because the Big Ten's not as deep, obviously, as the SEC. But 12 teams do make it, but neither one of them are going to be real factors when it comes to championship time.
All right, get them, commenters, get them.
Come at me, baby. No, I do like Arizona. I've got them projected at 9 points. 9.35, and their over/under is 8.5. Their market projected points. We talked about this on the podcast. So what I did was you can bet over/under on the points scored for every team in Vegas. Their over/under for points this year is 400.5. Last year they scored 400 points on the money. So what I did from that was I built out each team's schedule and just posted that to what they're projected to give up. So their points against projection is 395. That's 8.64 wins. I had them scoring quite a bit more than that, 468. That's why I'm higher on them than Vegas is. But I also had them giving up 426. So around the balance is not that big of a difference. So the market projection at 8.64. I'm at 9.35. Either way you go, that's over. So 9 wins is their floor. I think 10 wins is probably their ceiling. So I like Longhorns 10-7. I'm probably doing 9-8 officially when we get to it at the end of the year. But if the Rams keep slipping and if that disc keeps slipping in Stafford, I got to go to the 10th win because my numbers say there's an avenue to get there, and the market says that they're going over. So it's definitely at least 9 wins for me for the Cardinals this year.
All right, let's fly. We got to fly now.
All right, let's fly. Let's fly to those stupid Rams. Their over/under is 9.5. Real quick, who are they playing week 1? I know I was off on this one because I was way lower on the Rams than what the market had. Who are they playing week 1? Sorry.
The Bad News Bears.
Texans.
Oh.
So I had that as a pick 'em. Vegas had it Rams minus 3.5. It's currently Rams minus 2.5. So Vegas is obviously better on that one than I was. But again, I was lower on the Rams to begin with. So I knew this is one of those teams early on that I'm probably not going to be betting on or against because my numbers just don't match up to where the market's at. But Longhorn, what do you got on the Rams?
Yeah, again, this is just a team I was really high on in the summer. I put them out on our Patreon page as a Super Bowl ticket. I put several out at the Patreon page, so be sure to go over there and check out those. Those are still for free, and they're not behind a paywall as of yet. But I got them at plus 2,600 in the summer to win the Super Bowl. Obviously, cooling on that much to do with the everything to do with the Stafford back situation. If it wasn't for that, and the Jalen Ramsey, the fact they didn't pull the trigger on Jalen Ramsey, that kind of I don't know. I was kind of dead set on that happening, and they didn't make that work. It just when you look at this, when you look at the Rams defense, it's got a lot of really good young up and coming players. I think it's missing that, just that veteran, that glue piece that holds it all together. And I really like young defensive rosters, but I like there to be one or two solid veterans that can kind of lead the way. They missed out on that. I didn't like it. Obviously love the Devontae Adams addition. That's gonna be. I mean, if Stafford's healthy and they got Adams and Puka and Tutu Atwell, who came on last year fucking who saw that one coming 3 or 4 years ago when he got drafted at like 152 pounds, but he's turned into a player that can be serviceable as your third or fourth wide receiver. So they just signed Kyron Williams to an extension. There's nothing to not really like about this team except for the fact that the fucking old ass quarterback is getting epidural shots, and I don't think he's pregnant. I'll have to check. I'll have to make sure he's not going into labor.
Double check that.
But unless he's going into labor, this is not a good sign. So I don't like it. I've got them officially at 8-9. Again, I had them 10-7. Don't like what I'm hearing, so I dropped them down to where the Cardinals were. Bumped the Cardinals up. Now I will say, if you're talking about backup quarterbacks in a situation where there's going to be, you're missing your starter for X amount of time, Jimmy Garoppolo in this system is not a bad.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. So, maybe I'm being a little too aggressive on my drop down. I just don't like going into a season with epidural shots. That's just me. I don't know. Call me crazy.
Yeah, I don't like it either. But, I mean, admittedly, I'm just lost on this team because my numbers just don't bear out. I mean, they weren't a good football team last year. They scored 367 points. They gave up 386. They should have been a losing team. And
had the Super Bowl champs on the ropes.
And they won 10 games, yes, and they were one drive away from knocking out the champs. Yeah,
probably go and I mean, they would. That's a toss up between them and the Redskins, but
yeah, that would have been a better game for sure.
Where would that game have been? Would it have been?
It'd have been Washington. No, because the Rams won. They won the division. It would have been in L.A.
Okay, yeah. So
which is fine. Which is fine for the Redskins because they could have used that turf too. So
the coach is just really good. I think the coach is so good that
that's where I'm at. I can't. I mean, if you look at their Pythagorean theorem last year, they should have won 8.3 games. They won 10. So you got serious negative regression coming. Stafford was the 16th best quarterback, EPA plus CPOE, which means he's average. At completely healthy, he's an average quarterback these days. His top 10 days are over. If you look at their defense, it was 23rd last year in EPA. It was against the ninth hardest schedule offensively DVOA-wise, so definite room for improvement. But this year, their schedule is supposed to get harder. Last year it was 17th. This year it's 22nd. So the schedule is supposed to get even harder. My quarterback's a year older. His back's worse. He's already average. I mean, I think that McVay got every ounce of every win he could out of them to get them to 10-7 last year. So how much better could they possibly get? I don't think that they can get any better. But it is McVay, and Garoppolo's not a bad backup, but it gets a tough schedule. I think the 49ers bounce back this year, which we'll talk about in a second. I'm going to yield to Vegas and all their optimism in the marketplace, and clearly I'm still wrong because the line still hasn't come back to where I think it should be. So I had them at 8-9. I'll go 9-8, and I'll leave it there. But them winning 10 games to me, that's a tough road to sell. So it's under for me on the 9.5 and getting 9. I think 9 is as good as they're going to get.
All
right, moving on to those 49ers. Their over-under last year was 11.5. This year it is 10.5. Longhorn. Last year they were favored in all 17 games, the preseason projections. This year, only 15. So 2 games they're not favored in. So obviously Vegas is expecting them to take a step back from what their projection was the year before, but not a huge step back. What do you see?
Well, I see a couple things. Number one, I see a quarterback that is this is his chance to kind of take over, become that, the leader of this team, and like the reason that they're going to win games, not just the bus driver. I've got them going 12-5, a lot because of the schedule just being, just garbage. Basically, I think you said it's the
easiest schedule in the NFL.
Yeah. So now the long shot bet, sure to go wrong. I put out was Brock Purdy, 28-1 MVP, just simply because they could possibly have the best record in this conference and a number one seed. And if they do that, Purdy's going to put up some nice numbers. Saleh coming in on that defense, man. I hope he's got some black magic in his bag because
I believe it's brown magic, sir.
Sure. But point being, he's going to have to take a nice mix. I just talked about a nice mix of young and old. This is to that extreme level. Like, I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rookies that are either going to start or be heavy rotation just on the defense. One of them, Upton Stout, a cornerback who has slid into that starting role. He was a 3rd round pick this year and kind of surprising people at camp. He's still in one of those cornerback roles, which is fine. That's what you want to see. But like 3 rookies on the defensive line that are going to be heavy rotation guys. Like, I mean, but you still got your Fred Warners. You got your Nick Bosa's. Like, you've got a mix of the established veterans to go along with it. So I'm putting faith in Saleh that he can turn this defense that everybody's worried about into a serviceable defense. Because on offense, if these receivers would pull their head out of their ass, which is always a problem in San Francisco, I mean, Jerry Rice was never a problem. Since then, nothing but problems. Like talented receivers, but major problems. Juwan Jennings is dealing with an injury, and he's been chirping about his contract. Brandon Ayuk, always dealing with an injury. I mean, it's eventually these guys will come back, assuming that they come back healthy and play with the right attitude to go along with Ricky Pearsall, Pretty Ricky, who has been, just the guy got shot at the beginning of last year and then came back, worked himself back in, and by the last 2 games of the year last year was just lighting it up with Brock Purdy. So we'll see if that can continue. And then now you got Christian McCaffrey back fully healthy. I don't see anything stopping them in this division. I've got them 12-5, like I said, and I'm gonna sprinkle a little Brock Purdy MVP.
I like that sprinkle. So I'm at 11.39 with this team. Vegas is 10.71. I'm higher than this team that Vegas is. If you look at my projected line for week 1 at Seattle, I had them projected -4. Vegas only had them at -1.5. The current line is -2.5. So moving closer to me and away from Vegas's initial projection. So the market is starting to come around to where I had them projected at. I don't think it gets to 4 since we're at 2.5 currently. I don't think it gets past 3, but that's fine. I'll take San Francisco with the 2.5. There when I've got it projected at 4. Now they get positive regression with the Pythagorean theorem. They should have won 7.38 games last year. They only won 6. And kind of everything you mentioned with the health and everything, but on the defensive side, and usually, defense is weighted obviously into your projections and it's weighted less than the offense. But when you have something that was this extreme, they were 27th in EPA last year.
On defense?
On defense. They were terrible. But that was against the 4th hardest schedule. So you got Saleh coming back. You only have 61% returning production, which is the 5th worst in the NFL, but that's probably a good thing with that group. You got Saleh coming back in, and you go from the 18th hardest schedule to the easiest schedule in the league. That flip right there in defense, if he gets that 27 down to around that 10 to 15 range, which is usually where he lives, at worst, with this offense, they were 11th in EPA, which obviously was very surprising. They were even that good last year. They only scored 389 points. So you take that, that's going to get in the top 10 easily against this schedule and with some health and C-Mac there for sure. So now I've got a top 5 offense. I've got, a middling to maybe better than middling defense. Extremely easy schedule. The road is paved with gold for the 49ers, boys and girls, to get to, like Longhorn said, that number 1 seed. Right now, I've still got them sitting at 11, so it's a little bit. I'm at 11.39, so I could go 12. I might eventually. I might do it. You don't know what I'm doing. I might do it. But I'm at 11 sitting currently, so they're just going to be one of those teams. It's kind of like Minnesota was last year. They're going to get scheduled into a place where it's going to be very hard to take them down. Very hard to take down San Francisco this year.
Yeah,
and one last thing, Shanny's history. If you look the only other season in San Francisco where he didn't win double-digit games, the very next year bounced right back to double-digit wins. So he doesn't have a history of lulls in San Fran. It's an injury thing, and then bam, he's right back to it. So I get one of the best coaches in the league. He gets a key member of his staff back. It's a great program. It's a great organization. It's going to be a big bounce back year for San Fran this year.
And I love, just last thing on them, I love the rookies that they brought in on defense. Michael Williams, first round defensive end, Georgia. CJ West and Alfred Collins, 2 defensive tackles out of Indiana and Texas. Like, I mean, rarely do you see teams load up. Like, they basically are just here. These are our 2. This is our nose tackle and 3 tech defensive tackles pair right here as rookies. Get out there and start making plays. And obviously, I talked about Upton Stout and then Nick Martin, the rookie out of Oklahoma State linebacker. Like, they gave him pieces. Let's just say that they gave Salah plenty of pieces to work with, and he's a really good defensive coordinator. So go make some magic.
Yeah, I believe in him. All right, moving on to their Week 1 opponent, the Seattle Seahawks, last team in the NFC West here. Last year they won 10 games. They're over under 7.5. And Vegas said, "Man, that's so awesome. We'll move your over under all the way to 7.5." So it's the same as it was last year. Last year they were favored in 5 games. Preseason look ahead. This year 7. Mm-hmm. So a tick up. But Longhorn, you see much going on with Seattle. Can they repeat that 10-win performance from last year?
So you talk about a team that I don't you talk about black magic. How the fuck did this team win 10 games last year? Like,
no clue.
I'm so torn on this team. I've been talking about all summer how this team I just can't seem to quite figure out, and it's because of the imbalance between a roster that I really like, and I'm a roster whore, love the roster. I like the coach last year, and then seeing what he did. Like, I mean, how do you not love this coach, especially what he's doing on the defensive side of the ball? So I love the roster, love the coach, hate the fucking quarterback. I mean, I'm not a big Geno Smith fan who they had last year, but I love him exponentially more than I do Sam Icy Ghost Darnold. Like, you know, and of course, Darnold's coming off that 14-win season or whatever they had last year in Minnesota. Raise your hand if you think he can go and do that again somewhere else. I don't see any hands out there. No one thinks he's going to go repeat that. So you know, so just for me, I've got them 7-10, which just feels I feel like this team is going to make me look so stupid. I just know they are at putting them at 7-10, but I don't know what else to do because I don't believe in the quarterback at all. I still have questions on the offensive line, and that compounds when you have a quarterback like Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold had protection last year in Minnesota. He had weapons last year in Minnesota. He had an offensive-minded coach last year in Minnesota. He has none of those things this year. Okay, Cooper Kupp, I don't know. Is he good?
And he's got a rookie right behind him that everybody wants to see immediately.
Oh, yeah, and that's another thing is Jalen. Is it Jalen Milroe? Is that his first name?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's been looking good in camp. They're certainly going to have packages for him, you know, coming up this year. You know, again, I'm just torn on this one. I don't know what to do with them. Although I can tell you this, though.
I don't know what to do with my hands right now.
I can tell you this. They're going to mollywop some fucking people on defense. No one wants to play this team just because of the defense. I can promise you that. They're coming to hit you. They are big, strong, and fast. And this defensive coach is going to have, you know, he's second year coming from Baltimore. He's going to have more twists on what he can do with these players. So they might not win a lot of games, but no one's going in there with an easy win. I can promise you that.
Yeah, so this team is one of those ones that I'm spot on with Vegas. So that's how I know where I was off on the line was all my higher projection on San Fran and nothing to do with Seattle. Because if you add the entire projected spread up for 17 games, I've got them projected a total of +8, which means all games considered, they get 8 points for 17 games. Vegas is at 8.5. We're literally half a point apart in 17 games. So I know my numbers are spot on with the market here. So again, it's just me being higher on San Fran is why that spread, I had it at 4. It's now at 2.5. We'll see how close it gets to me. But with this team here, I've got it at 8.33 is where I'm at with Seattle, which is slightly to the over. And I think they can do that. And it's really all because of that coaching staff. They were 10th last year in EPA, and that was against the hardest schedule in the league. Offensively,
8.33 puts them over. I thought you said 8.5.
No, 7.5.
Oh, they're over 7.5?
Yeah, 7.5.
Holy shit. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm probably wrong on them.
Well, Vegas doesn't see any upgrade with the team, and I don't either. But I mean, both of us are leaning over. Vegas is sitting at 7.99 if you do the math from their projected lines. Again, I'm at 8.33. So that's both of us are sitting hovering around 8. I mean, can their defense be that awesome again? Yeah, I think they can, because with that coach, they're never going to be bad. But they have negative regression for their Pythagorean theorem from last year. I mean, they only should have won 8.73 games. They won 10. You got Sam Darnold. I don't really need to say anything else there. And their market projection,
Sammy D.
Their market projection is like right with me. It's right at 9. So they're projected to, or their over-under is 415.5 points. I think that's high, but I also think if you look through the schedule and add it up, it's 390.5 given up. They're not going to give up 390 points. They only gave up 368 last year. They're going to live in that 360 to 370, 380 range at a max. I've got them projected giving up 379. So it's going to be 8 and 9 for Seattle for me. I'm not going to let them fall too far. I don't think that they'll let Sammy D grenade this thing too much. This coach has shown he's a winner and that he's going to drive his guys to be great. And I think they continue that as great as they can be. This is just a really tough division, and they might end up on the bottom of it. Probably be
a good team is going to finish last.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be between them and the Rams, probably who finishes last, and maybe 8 and 9 does that. That's what I've got. So the recap of the division quickly. I've got 11 and 6 for San Fran. That's slightly over winning the division. I get the Rams 9 and 8. That's under for their total. Arizona 9 and 8. That's over for their total. And Seattle 8 and 9 over for their total. So 3 overs and 1 under in a very competitive division for me, Longhorn.
Yeah, I got San Fran 12 and 5 winning the division. Purdy 28-1 to get MVP. Little sprinkle. I've got Arizona 10 and 7 pulling up second, and the Rams at 8 and 9, third place and last place because I don't know what to do with them. Seattle Seahawks 7 and 10.
Are you really a real place, Seattle? Has anybody ever been there? I mean, I don't know. Who knows? It's way up there in the Northwest, so they say.
The Canadian Seahawks.
The Canadian Seahawks. The Canucks. All right, let's move on to the AFC West. Those Denver Broncos.
Oh,
This is a team that you and I are both high on, Longhorn, and so is Vegas. Last year, over under 5.5. This year, 9.5. That is a tremendous fucking jump. Last year, they were favored in 3 games preseason. This year, they're favored in 12 games in the preseason projections. Good gosh almighty, Joe Friday. Longhorn, what do you think about those Denver Broncos?
Yeah, before we get into this division, if we run out of time and we shortchange these teams, if it's your favorite team, go and listen to the podcast, the Football Glory Hole podcast, anywhere you get your podcast, and you'll get a very long, in-depth breakdown of all these teams because we're on the clock here.
That's
but
with
Denver, oh, baby, I am going to toot my horn because I put out about a month.
It easy with the tooting over there.
About a month and a half ago, Denver to win the Super Bowl. At that time, they were 40-1. Currently, they're sitting at 28-1. That is called, what do we call that in the betting world, Bo Stevens? You're the more betting terminology. Is that good value?
Closing line value.
Closing line
CLV,
value.
baby.
That is CLV for you. But you got to go to the Patreon page to get things like this. But yeah, I love this team. I've been high on this team. One of the best rosters. And if you take out quarterback, I don't see there might be rosters that are as good. I don't see a roster better than Denver's. Now, speaking of the quarterback, the coach loves him. The coach is a Super Bowl winning coach. The coach has won a Super Bowl with a quarterback that looks a lot like Bo Nix. Now, obviously, Drew Brees at that time was much more refined, much later in his career. So I'm not saying Nix is
and he was a Purdue man, sir. Bo Nix is half a tard. So let's calm down. Calm down.
First of all, he's not. He's not. He's a smart kid. I'm a smart man. That's blasphemy, and I want to stand for it. But yeah, just this team is going to be nasty on defense. They were really good last year on defense. You know what they did? Did they say, you know what, we're good. Let's not worry about defense. No, they said, go give me that Pro Bowler from San Francisco, Dre Greenlaw. Go give me that other Pro Bowler from San Francisco, Hugh Fonga. And then you know what? In the first round, why don't we just draft Jahdae Barron and make the best defense of all time and just lock this up and let's do this? there's nothing to not like about this team. There's nothing to not like about the coach and where they're going. You can take your shots at the quarterback, and that's perfectly fine because he is an unknown going into the second year. We talked about the sophomore slump, but you show me the sophomore slump with an offensive genius coach for a quarterback, and I'll say maybe you got something, but you don't usually get major sophomore slumps from a quarterback with a great Hall of Fame type offensive minded coach.
Yeah, you said that on the pod. I've been thinking about that since you said it. And a couple of things. No, I can't really think of that. But number two, if you look at Bo Nix's play last year, he was 19th in EPA plus CPOE, which is just fine for a rookie. He was the second best rookie last year next to Jaden Daniels, who obviously lit the world on fire. No shame coming in second to that guy. Of course, they were pretty far apart. But it also got me thinking, you can't really slump from 19th. Like, you could slump from what Jaden Daniels did, right? Lighting the world on fire. Going to the NFC Championship game. This year, if they win 9 games and he's okay, if he finishes 15th, right, in that rating, that's a sophomore slump. What Stroud did in Houston, first year, top 5 EPA plus CPOE, playoffs, wins a playoff game, right? And then the next year stinks. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL by the numbers. That's a slump. So can Bo Nix really slump from 19th? I don't think so. I mean, could he not get better? Sure.
But if you take his splits, though, like if you take out the first 5 or 6 games and just go towards the back end of that year last year, he got way better. He kept getting better.
Definitely got way better. He was dead last in that metric to start out with. So, yeah, He definitely got way better. I mean, he just played more games. And he's a gamer. I give the kid crap, but I've always loved him. I loved him in Ole Miss. I loved him in Oregon. He's just a gamer, man. He's one. Auburn. Yeah. He reminds me a lot of Romo, who's just not going to be the most talented guy. He's not going to run the fastest. He's not going to knock you out with his arm strength. He's not going to knock you out with anything he does physically. But when the lights come on, the kid just makes plays. And that's the best way I can describe it. It's always the way I could describe Bo Nix. It used to be home Bo Nix at Auburn. You bet on him. Road Bo Nix, you bet against him. And it was just like cash and paychecks. He got a little bit better than that Oregon. Of course, the team was better than Oregon also. So that helps. But this last year, man, if you look at their offense, they scored 425 points. They were 16th in EPA. So they scored 425, and they weren't even efficient doing it. A lot of that to do with the quarterback. I call him the check down merchant for a reason. It was a lot of that. It was not a very efficient offense. But through Sean Payton, they continue to find a way to put the ball in the end zone. In all his designs of what he did, he's going to continue to do that and scheme it up to help the quarterback out. Now, if you look at, and this is my favorite thing about this team, and Longhorn talked about how awesome their roster is. Well, I started tracking returning production in the NFL starting this year. I've been doing it in college. It's a major thing in college. I'm going to see what it means in the NFL. I don't really know if I'm being transparent, but they're the number 1 returning production team on both sides of the ball. They returned 85.2% production on offense. They returned 88.9% production on defense. And that is a defense that was number 1 last year in EPA against the 12th hardest schedule. So pretty tough schedule, and they were the best defense in all of football. Longhorn just told you they added all these pieces. There should be even better. I don't know how you get better than the best, but somehow they're going to do it. And on top of all that, they got positive regression coming from their Pythagorean theorem. They should have won 11 games last year, and they only won 10. A lot of that, again, is to do with the fact that they were not very efficient on offense. Their offense was like pulling fucking teeth. But if you look at this schedule is the 13th easiest in the league. And I'll just go down it real quick. They have sex. They have sex a lot. They have 6 very winnable games at home. They got Tennessee, the Jets, Giants, the Cows, Vegas, and Jacksonville, and a toss-up with the Chargers. Then on the road, they get to go to Indy, Houston, Vegas, and the Chargers. So they're going to need 6 of those 7 at home, 3 of the 4 roadies. And then you've got to beat either any one of these. They got to beat Kansas City at least once.
Win.
Green Bay and Cincy. They're all at home. So you just need one of those 3.
They'll get 2 of those 3 to put them at 11, right?
That's at 10. So if they went 2 of the 3, that gets them to 11.
Yeah. And I don't think I said it, but I got them 11-6. So that's my.
I got them 10-7. I don't know if they're ready to beat 2 out of those 3 teams, but if they could beat Kansas City, I don't think they're beating Green Bay. They're going to beat Cincinnati.
They beat them last year if it wasn't for a fucking fluke ass block.
They did, except that they did it.
Well, It's a new season, brother. New season.
But they'll beat Cincy. We'll get to Cincy. We'll get to Cincy this week on the podcast. But anyway, let's move on to Kansas City. Those Chiefs, can anybody beat them, Longhorn? We got 10 minutes to get through 3 teams. So over-under is 11.5. Of course, they're going to win 17 games. It's just what they do. What? Tell us how wrong you're going to be on this team.
Oh, so I'm glad we're getting this one out there. I am going to step in it, and I am picking KC to go last in this division. I know. Timestamp it. It's going to look stupid here probably in about a month. Probably in a month it'll look stupid, but that's okay, because when you evaluate things, the roster, the way they played last year, getting lucky, all you can say if you're
extremely lucky.
And all you can look, it's not all you can say, but having God at quarterback, having Mahomes, who just never fucking loses, that's just enough to go win 10, 11, 12 games. I get that. But at some point, the way the roster actually looks and the way they actually play has to catch up with them at some point. Am I trying to catch a falling knife? Yeah. Does that work? No, that's not where you want to be. But I'm rating off what I see on rosters, and I just don't like the roster that much. They got major problems in the secondary that no one's really talking about. Like, I think this is going to be a major, major issue for this team in the secondary. We know that Rashid Rice is going to get suspended. I heard 8 to 10 actually rumors the other day, Bocephus.
He has to be. He's going to jail. People have gotten 4 games.
He ain't going to jail. He ain't going to jail. He's an NFL rich player. He ain't going to jail. But
he got sentenced. No, he got sentenced.
Yeah, he won't spend time behind bar. But let's not bog down on that, because like rich people don't go to jail. But
rich people don't write checks.
Rich people don't write checks, and they don't go to jail. But that being said, Hollywood Brown is already dealing with an injury. Like, they're going to have issues at receiver again. Travis Kelce's getting fat and just whatever he is at this point. Let's not talk about Mr. Pfizer too much, but I'm down on them. Now, here's the caveat to what I say about them finishing last. I do have them going 9-8, tying with the Raiders record-wise at 9-8. Technicality get him to last, and if this hits, then this will go down as the most legendary fucking call of all time. And if it doesn't, I'll delete it.
Yeah, I got them going 11-6 just to save some time. There's 2 things for me. One, they won 15 games last year. The Pythagorean theorem said they should have won 9.6. It's one of the most lopsided regressions coming their way. Yes, they do have God at quarterback, and that's how you win 15 games when you're only supposed to win 9. Yeah. It does happen. However, their strength of schedule last year was 12th easiest. This year, 6th hardest. So schedule gets a lot tougher. Their defense faded hard down there. They were top 5 for a good 3/4 of the season. Ended up 15th in EPA. So, and that was against a 17th hardest schedule. So basically an average schedule. Now they do return to 81.5% of production on there, but I mean, they were basically ended up an average defense. Now, I'm not going to go less than 11 wins, which that still is slightly to the under. It's 11.5. We've seen this movie a million times. We saw it with Tom Brady for 2 decades. If he's standing on 2 legs, they win double-digit games and they win the division. Yeah, that's just how football go.
I'm aware.
All right, moving on to our Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders last year over under 7. This year, 7. But last year they only favored in 2 games. This year favored in 4. Vegas expect them to be twice as nice, baby. And last year they only won 4. Does that mean they win 8 this year, Longhorn?
Well, it means they're going to win 9, because that's what I'm putting, man. Here's my long shot bet, sure to go wrong. The Las Vegas Raiders to make the playoffs. That's surely that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be, betting on the Raiders. That's a good. No, the new coach, Super Bowl winning coach coming in. I don't like what I saw in the preseason game. I'm not going to lie. Ashton Genty got the ball and got immediately hit by 3 people. Got to clean that up. Let's chalk that up to a preseason game. They are shuffling people on the offensive line. I think it's going to settle into a good line once they get their positions settled out and all that. That is worrisome, though. I don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing offensive line shuffles this late into the summer and the preseason. Deontay Thornton. Let's talk about him for a second, real quickly. He has leapfrogged Jack Betch, the other rookie receiver out of Tennessee. He is 6'5", 215, runs a 4.3 40. Like, he is just going to be a game changer for this offense that needs a guy just like that because you got Brock Bowers over the middle. You got Ashton Jeanty, who you're going to rely on in the backfield. So it's going to set up nicely. Now on defense, we're in trouble. We are in trouble back here. I know they worked some black magic last year. They were actually pretty good. They're going to need more of the same because they went the Redskins route from last year to just veterans, no stars, just bring in a bunch of veteran players and let's piece glue something together that can get us in that mid-range level on defense that you want to be in that 15 range. So if they can do that and they can run the ball and they can hit some things over the top with Geno Smith, who we both, it's a major upgrade from what they had last year. Obviously, I got them going 9-8, tied with Kansas City for last.
Okay, I've got them going 8-9, and I'm just looking for. They can't get worse. They were 31st last year in EPA and offense against the 10th easiest schedule. That is absolutely fucking horrific. So they're not going to get worse than that. They were average, surprisingly not, on defense. It was 16th in EPA, and that was against the 6th hardest schedule. So given a poverty offense and that harder schedule, pretty impressive that they ended up being an average. They were one tick below Kansas City on defense last year, if that means anything to you. So we just need them to improve slightly, just slightly. And guess what? We got Chip Kelly coming in as the OC with a real grown-up at quarterback now. I know Geno Smith's not the greatest, but we don't need him to be the greatest. Look, we're looking for 7 wins. The over-under total was 6.5 when I bet it. All we need is 7. If they beat New England in the opening game, which they could, they get Chicago, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Dallas, Cleveland, and the Giants all at home. That's 7 wins right there. And I don't believe Sneaky Pete's going to go 0-6 in the division, which they did last year, which means they clipped somebody. So that's 8. I'll take 8. So let's go 8-9 for Silver and Black. Last team. Well, no, last team.
Yeah, one more.
Oh, those San Diego Superchargers. They are sitting at 9.5 right now, Longhorn. Quickly on the Chargers.
Yeah, this is a team that I was really high on again in the summer. Put them out as another Super Bowl bet, 30-1 earlier in the summer. And of course, the news, they just lost their left tackle, Rashawn Slater, for the year, patella tendon injury. And
you are the mush.
And like the Chargers are always going to charge. This is just what they do. Right when you're feeling really, really good about them, something like this happens. Now, the bright side, they're going to flip Joe Alt to left tackle. He's probably going to fill right in and be, Pro Bowl level and just fine. But now you got it. Now you're shuffling things on the other side. It's just not what you want to have. They brought in Keenan Allen to play wide receiver. I really like that to pair up with Ladd McConkey and the offensive rookie to watch. Beside, I'm not going to mention Omarion Hebner because he's going to be the hammer that they're going to rely on in the backfield. But Keandre Lambert-Smith out of Auburn has leapfrogged Trey Harris, the other rookie receiver. So that's going to be a nice little battle between those two to see who can steal those reps at third wide receiver. And then real quickly on defense, it's Jesse Minter, work your magic because on paper it doesn't look very great, doesn't look very good. But we've seen, as we've talked about even on this show, these defensive coordinators, really talented ones, can turn something that doesn't look really great into serviceable. So it's 10-7 for me. I'm still leaving them there, even with the Slater news. They broke my heart. Those Cebus, they break my heart.
They always do. I got them projected 9.52. I'm dropping them to 9. A couple reasons why. Number one, there were a little bit of fool's gold last year. They're 12th in EPA in offense. That was against the 8th easiest schedule. They were 5th in defense. That was against the 5th easiest schedule. This year, their schedule go from the 2nd easiest to the 17th. So their schedule gets harder. Their travel is horrendous. They have to go to play the Giants back home, play Miami back home, go to Tennessee back home, and all the way back to Jacksonville and back home, and that's all without a bye. So the travel is horrendous for this team this year. They got fucked on the travel. They got fucked on their schedule. They should have regression from the Pythagorean theorem. It was a little bit of smoke and mirrors last year. Now, as far as the market, I had them projected as a 2-point dog to Kansas City. Vegas had them at 3-point dog to Kansas City. The line is currently 3, so Vegas is more on this team than I am, but I think that I'm pretty close to them. No, I was just higher. So I was higher than – I had them minus 11.5 total on the spread. Vegas had them I had 29. They had 11.5. So, yeah. So even my projection, Vegas is lower than me on that, and I'm at 9.52. So again, I'm going to go with kind of the news going on and the marketplace and stick them at 9 and 8. So overall, Kansas City 11-6. That's under. Denver 10-7. It's over. LAC 9 and 8 under, and Raiders 8 and 9, and that's the over, baby.
All right, I got Denver 11-6, Chargers 10-7, KC and Vegas at 9 and 8, with KC finishing last on a technicality. So that's going to wrap it up for this show. If you want a more in-depth look, go to our podcast, Football Glory Hole Podcast, and check that out. Of course, the Patreon page, patreon.com/bet_FGH. People, stop throwing away your hard-earned money in the guessing game. Let the pros do the heavy lifting. So sign up, tell a friend, and join in on the fun of watching football, drinking beer, and never pay a bookie again. Come on.
Ah, damn it. People never pay a bookie again. Steven Tyler, take us out, baby.